Hey everybody, welcome back to 12th Man Rant. I'm your host, Zach Curtis. Let's get ranting. Alright, preseason week 2 is in the books and it was awesome. Seahawks finally came home, glad to welcome them back, was in the stadium, fans were excited, everything was electric. It was just fantastic to have football back in the Great Northwest. Notes from the game, just 2 words. Yeah, that happened. That was awesome! That was so great! 41-14, and it should have been even more. That Earl Thomas pick 6 should have counted. That was bullshit that got called back. On to the real game, on to what happened. Backup running back battle continued from week 1. Robert Turbin looked great. He ran with vision, speed, and power. He was stiff-arming fools, he was getting the extra yard, he showed some nice burst, liked everything I saw. Christian Michael, on the other hand, still an explosive player, but you gotta hold on to the rock. You fumble in a Pete Carroll offense, you will not see the field again. If Michael doesn't correct his actions, get a little bit better in pass protection, and definitely hold on to the rock, you can kiss this battle goodbye and just crown Robert Turbin right now. Quarterback play this week was phenomenal. I mean, sure there wasn't a passing touchdown, but 4 rushing touchdowns by 3 different guys, that's gotta be some kind of a record. Yeah, it's a record. Let's just call it a record. Let's just name it and be done. But seriously, 4 rushing touchdowns by 3 different QBs was just great. I like the decision making Pryor showed. I think he stepped up a lot from week 1. He didn't have a lot of completions, 1 for 4, but that wasn't all his fault, and his decisions were much sounder than they were last week. I'm pretty sure T-Jack still has the backup spot wrapped up, but I hope to see a lot more out of him out of week 3. The coaching staff is, well, I don't even know anymore. Pryor looked really good. Pryor looked good. He looked like he could be a competent backup. Kenneth Arthur tweeted it best when he said, "If I'm looking for a quarterback to come in the 4th quarter to replace Russell Wilson, I want Terrell Pryor. However, if I want a quarterback to come in and replace Russell Wilson for 4 games, I want Tavares Jackson." The question is, how does the coaching staff feel? This battle that I thought was predetermined from the onset is wide open once again. And if Pryor shows enough, there's a good chance we could wind up cutting T-Jack and running with just Wilson and Pryor. Other awesome thing on offense, tight end play. And you know who I'm talking about, Zach the Glacier Miller. That guy is rock steady, like a wall of ice you could say in pass protection, but is he slow? Just like a river of ice flowing down the mountain. The face he made when he got tackled was priceless. It was actually better than him getting the touchdown. I love that guy. He's got great hands. He does everything you need. He doesn't really excel in any one area to like an elite level, but he's just so solid all the way through. God, if he was only a little bit faster. Special teams. Earl Thomas is still returning punts. And while it scares me to say this, he's probably going to do it in the regular season. Pete Carroll went on the Brock and Salk show today and basically said, we don't care about injuries, we play the best player for the position. Basically, he's telling all the fans, and Salk included, and myself, to nut up and deal with it. And while I totally respect that attitude, I just respect, there's no but, man. Yeah, we're going to deal with it. I think this week was another fine example of what Percy Harvin brings to this team. It's not only what he does when he has the ball in his hands, he had some very nice production today, but it's what he does to the defense and accounting for him on every play that opens up running lanes and creates separation for other receivers. The Zach Miller reception is a great example of this. If you watch the replay, the free safety is floating over to cover Harvin on the deep route, which allows Zach to get into that seam right behind the linebackers and make a great catch. He makes this offense more dynamic by his mere presence, even if we're not giving it to him. And you know that they have package plays for him where they're going to get him the ball 10 to 15 times a game. Love the entire performance of the defense. From the starters allowing only a few first downs, to the backups just giving up 14 points. Everything about the defense made me happy. What I was most happy about was the D-line. O'Brien Schofield getting to the backfield, making a QB sandwich, sack lunch today, he's bringing it home. In fact, the only downside of the entire defensive performance was the bad call negating Harold Simon's 100-plus yard pick 6. Come on, that is bullshit. Pete Carroll said it best. Are these rules changing the game? Yes. Is it making it better? That we don't know. And I can tell you from a fan's perspective, the answer is no. So many ticky-tacky penalties have been called this preseason, it's bullshit. Now you're just watching for the flag after every play. That's not what I want as a fan. They got to earn those yards. And if you're not going to earn them, if you're just going to award them to offenses to get a more high-scoring game, then you're selling me a bullshit fake product, and I'm not going to watch it. Which is hard to believe because I blog about this shit. I vlog about this shit. I put my face out there for the Seahawks. You, Goodell, it's your whole mission. Some of us, real football fans, actually get a kick out of defense. How does that sound? Surprising? We like to see a run game. We like Marshawn Lynch. We don't think that you need to pass for 5,000 yards to have a good goddamn team. How about you ease up on the rules and just let these folks play some football? So anyway, bottom line, great game, top to bottom, whole performance. The entire team Really glad they bounced back from week 1, where they didn't even look that bad. But this team looks to be ready to play. Like the season could start tomorrow and they'd be all right. I gotta tell you, just as last week I was pissed off in a loss, this week I'm pissed off in a victory. Why? Because it doesn't help us. You really want a day like this to be meaningful in the regular season and then again in the postseason. Well, it's not. It's preseason. You curb stop the San Diego Chargers 41-14. You don't get shit for it. What is nice is that some of the players stood out and have a much better chance of making the roster, and other guys, didn't. So there's that. Thank you all for watching, and we'll be back next week with more 12th Man Rant. Brian Schofield getting to the backfield, making a QB sandwich, sack lunch today. He had some really nice QB pressures, a bunch of great hits, and a nice sack. He did get the sack, right? I don't know. O'Brien Schofield brought his own sack lunch to the game today. It was fucking awesome. He had some apples, he had a peanut butter banana sandwich, Capri Sun. He even had a guy Capri Sun in that bitch. It was awesome. That's right, he brown bagged it. He brought it in a sack. Brought his lunch from home that day in a brown sack. Obi brought the brown sack. Maybe the drinking wasn't such a good idea. Kellen Clemens is left wishing O'Brien had just gone and ordered out for lunch instead of bringing his sack with him. Obi's not going to the restaurant with you fools. That's right, he brought his lunch from home in a brown sack. Yeah, I want to allow him the sack lunch thing. Yeah.